This is my unofficial hang gliding flying guide to Mam Tor, which is the hill just there. But before you fly at Mam Tor, you must make sure, number one, that you're a member of the Derbyshire Soaring Club. Number two, that you actually check the Derbyshire Soaring Club site guide for the latest information and any detail on lambing closures. And if you've not flown here before, really importantly, number three, that you speak to somebody who flies locally who can give you that most up-to-date and first-hand knowledge. Mam Tor takes winds from northeast through to southeast. Ideally it will be easterly or perhaps with a touch of north. We usually park our cars just over there, and there are two takeoff areas here, which is one just in front of the cars, which is the preferred one for lazy people, known as the land slip because it's where the land has slipped, and this is the area that's commonly used for taking off here at Mam Tor. The reason being, you park your car there and you take off just here. So that's a nice easy place to take off from. It's very accessible. The issue with it is if the wind is off to the south, you tend to get rotor from that lump there, which is Treat Cliff. So if you do take off and the wind's off to the south at all here, what you need to do is fly quite a long way out and then around so that you don't get hit by the rotor. Here that we call the pimple, which gives you a little bit more height, but the other advantage is if you're taking off where the cars are, if the wind goes off to the south a little bit, then you can get turbulence from Treat Cliff, which is just in front of it. So key tip, if you're going to fly here, the pimple is the safer option. If you're going to take off just in front of the cars at the land slip, then make sure you speak to somebody locally who understands about the wind direction and the turbulence. Alternatively, you can take off from the top of Treat Cliff. That works well when the wind is off to the north and gives you a little bit extra height, but that can be subject to lambing closures as it is right now. Or you can carry up to the top of Mam Tor. It's a short, sharp carry, and as you can see, taking off from the top of here gives you a lot more opportunity for going up, and you get a fantastic view right from the start. I actually really enjoy taking off from the top of Mam Tor. It's great fun. If it's lighter winds and you're worried about staying up from the bottom, it's a really impressive place to take off from, but beware, if it's stronger winds down below, it can be really strong at top because of the Venturi effect, which funnels the wind over the top and makes it a lot stronger. The bottom landing is just right out in front of the ridge. It's currently closed due to lambing closures. If we go down today, we will land in the field just past it, which is a little bit shorter, but it is a slight upslope. So that's a takeoff from the pimple. Takeoff from the air. All the hang gliders getting ready. It's easy! Easy to get up. Just shouting a message down to the people on the ground who are worried about getting up. So we took off and turned right over to Treat Cliff. So that was a good place to start getting up, and then when we got a little bit of height, we've come back over to the main face of Mam Tor and are very easily soaring up it. Doing it that way makes it a lot easier to stay within range of the bottom landing field, rather than taking off and turning left. If you go down then, it's more difficult to get to the bottom landing field. So that was the safest option that I chose there. Took off, turned right, went over Treat, got some height on Treat, and then came back to the main face of Mam Tor, which I've just very quickly now, while I've been talking, just sawed up the face off. Here, you see. So that's Mam Tor, the face of Mam Tor. The wind at height is around about 14 miles an hour from the east, and it is very easily soarable. There are some thermals around, pretty easy, decent thermals, taking me up to just under 3,000 feet, and that is despite all this cloud cover that's around. So let's have another look at that bottom landing field from above. So there's the bottom landing field. You'd normally approach it from over the trees in the corner closest towards us, and head towards the out towards the east. It has got some little bits of slope, and it slopes down initially and then up a little bit, but it's a nice big landing field. The obstacles to be aware of are those trees and the power lines that run alongside the trees, so you can lose your height over there and then just come in nicely along what is probably the shortest length of the field. Do not try to do the full length of the field because it does slope down slope. You can do it, but I would go across it. So the normal approach from this landing field is to come beat your height off above the trees there and to come this way along the landing field. You can see that it's undulating and it ends in a wall. What that means is that you have to actually get down in it and not fly all the length of it and hit the wall. So you have to beat your height off over those trees and then fly along the landing field towards the wall. It does slope down generally towards the north, so you need to take that into consideration when you're doing your landing. Generally speaking though, you're heading towards the east because the site actually takes an easterly. It's got bits of undulation in the landing field and it is not accessible during lambing season. So key features are the trees and the power lines over there, so beat your height off over them but not behind them, and then come in and land in the landing field. It's quite a nice landing field, easy to get into. The other point to mention is that you do not drive your car down here. There is a little road, but you do not drive your car down here. You have to park your car on the road, which is only 50 metres away, and walk down. And we would normally land at a place called Windy Knoll, which is the preferred bottom landing field. So if you look now, there's Windy Knoll. We'd approach it from this side, usually beat off your height in a clockwise direction, come in over the wall and then in towards the path. Do not overfly the path because then it starts to slope downwards past the path. So try to land before the path. There's Murray. Hello Murray. He wanted some more video of him from my video because he wants to be a YouTube star. Marek, you're a YouTube star. He would have been if he'd have stayed in the thermal with me. There we go again. Shout out to Marek. There's Marek and Tim. Hello Tim. We're all thermaling together. Come on Tim. There he goes. To fly quite a long way out from Mam Tor using the thermals. You see here I'm directly above Castleton, and there's Mam Tor. There's Mam Tor back in the distance where I'm going to. Part of the fun sometimes here is seeing how far upwind you can get and still make it back again. It is, despite the cloud cover today, there are some thermals around, as I said before, and they're having quite a nice buzz around the sky. I'm having a bit of fun. Okay, so despite the fact that it is really buoyant, It's time for me to go and land now, because I've got things I need to do. So I'm going to land at Windy Knoll, which is the usual bottom landing. It's called Windy Knoll because it's usually quite windy, but not always. And it's the landing that I showed you before, where you don't want to go beyond the path. There's some gliders landed there now, and as I make my approach you will see them. They are actually parked on the path. So that's a good idea not to go past them, because I'll go through them. And I don't want to go through any gliders. So the first thing I'm going to do, I don't really want to land because it's quite buoyant, but I've got to go to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is unzip. I'm really high up unzipping, but I know that I'm not going to have any last minute worries about unzipping. And I'm going to make an upwind approach, and when I'm low enough I will do a clockwise circuit around the landing field. You'll see that in just a minute. Unfortunately though, I'm really high at the moment for landing, so I need to lose some of this height. Trouble is, I keep going up everywhere. I'm also putting my VG at a third. VG at third setting, so I've got some roll authority, but can still pull speed on for landing. That's a really good setting for a Wills Wing T2C. Unfortunately, I'm just going up and up and up everywhere I go here. It's not good for going down. What is going on? I come to land, and you can hear the beeping. I'm just going up, and then I'm going up some more. So I'm just upwind. There's the landing field. I'm just upwind of it here, so I'm going to circle around on this bit, do some circling around here to lose my height. I'm circling on the upwind side of it, so I know I can always reach the downwind bit. Still got a lot of going up doing here. I'm trying to find an area that's going down. There we go, going down. Now we're going down. So now I'm going to have a circuit round, clockwise. I'm keeping an eye on where I want to land. Legs out. Still a bit high. I like to go up the uprights. Nice and high. Final approach now. Just keep the speed on. Keep speed on. And then get ready for a nice flare. There you go. There you go. That's how you land at Windy Knoll. Simple. And I've given myself loads of room on a slight upslope, nowhere near the path, plenty of run out so that I don't overshoot. Dead easy. The landing area at Windy Knoll behind me is a little bit undulating, but it's nice and easy to get down into, and there's usually quite a bit of wind. Don't fly past the path because it starts to go down slope down that way, and you can very quickly find yourself unable to get down and crashing into a wall at the other end, although I have never ever seen anybody do it. I always land around, I land just over that way, because then that way it's just a little smooth upslope, nice to land on. Some people will try and be clever and land here. It's up to you, depending on your landing abilities, your landing skills and what you prefer. I like the little upslope.